Greetings all. I hope that you guys are well today. So let us have a look at the Bitcoin chart. So as you can see, I have the monthly chart for Bitcoin open. And the first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is it that we can see on this particular monthly chart? So one of the first things that I can already see, or that I can already spot, is that we had let me just bring up my trading tool. We had this W formation over here, and then price went up with the neckline being in this particular region. However, by now you guys know that whenever we have W formations, or rather M and W formations, what we would like to see happen is price coming back to the neckline after breaking it and then continuing up. In the case of an M formation, we want to see price coming back to the neckline and then coming down again, right? So we never got to see a retracement back to the neckline of this particular M, with the neckline being in this region. So price just shot up, retraced to around this point, and then went back up again, right? So that's the first thing that I see. And at that particular time, the all-time high was actually this area around here, right? So this is the previous all-time high. It's not the current all-time high, but it's the previous all-time high, or it's one of the previous all-time highs, rather, let me put it that way. And because of that, we would love to see at some point price at least coming back to this level and then heading up again, right? So what else can we tell by looking at this particular chart, which is the monthly chart? We also saw that price created an M formation, and it's actually an overextended M formation in this manner, right, with the neckline being at around this region. So what's currently happening is the neckline is currently being tested by price in this region, and what may happen is that price may break this particular neckline and actually come back to this line that I spoke about, which is one of the previous all-time highs, right? What else can we tell by looking at this particular chart, which is the monthly chart? Another thing that is very important that I can see is that we have this particular candlestick over here, right? What it is a bearish candlestick with a small body and a long lower wick. So what that tells us is that in that region we actually have a lot of liquidity that needs to be grabbed by the market. Yeah, so just bear with me, guys. I just want to mark it so that we do not forget about it, because it's a very, very important candlestick, right? As you can see, price is actually in the process of grabbing that liquidity that I'm referring to. What else can we see by looking at this particular candlestick? So over and above having this M formation over here, this extended M formation, we also have this head and shoulders pattern, with the left hand shoulder being here, right, the head being there, and the right hand shoulder being here, and price seems to be right at the bottom, completing that head and shoulders pattern, right? So what else can we tell by looking at this particular candlestick, or rather this particular chart, excuse me? Another thing that is very important is that we have a strong area of support in this region, right? Because we have this candlestick, this one, and this one, all rejecting this particular level. So I'm just going to mark this level as well, as it's also very important. I'm just going to make it an orange color actually, so that it stands out more. There we go. All right. we know that this area is important. Not only is this area a support area, but it's also the neckline of this M formation that we spoke about, right? So let's continue. What else can we tell by looking at this particular chart? I don't see much at this point, so what I'm gonna do is head over to the weekly chart. There we go. We've got the weekly chart open, and as you can see, guys, that particular head and shoulders pattern that I spoke about is actually better visible on this particular weekly chart, right? So what else can we tell on this particular chart that's also very important? We also seem to have a small M formation here with the neckline being there. It's actually an overextended M formation with the first leg being lower than the second leg, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to add a small little neckline so that we don't forget about this particular information, because it is very much important as well. We can see the neckline is around there, right? So let's continue, guys. Another important thing that I see is that because we have this particular area here, right? One thing that I can tell you is that we have a whole lot of stop hunts that are in this region over here, because what happened is a lot of traders saw price creating a W formation here with the neckline being there. Price came back to retest that neckline and then it went up. So people entered when they saw this neckline forming, sorry, this W formation forming, right? They put their stop losses below. Others entered here on the retest of this neckline and put their stop losses somewhere here as well. Other individuals, what they saw is they saw this pin bar, this red pin bar as well. Excuse me, which indicated that price was going up, which means they bought as well, put in their stop losses in that region. So what I can tell you right now is that we have a whole lot of stop losses in this region. We have a whole lot of stop losses in this region, and chances are what price is doing currently is coming back to trigger all those stop losses, and we may actually see it going upwards from where it is right now, because there's quite a lot of liquidity stuck in this region, right? Yeah, so that's what I see happening. And so yeah, let's continue. So what else can we tell by looking at this particular weekly chart, right? There's not much really, but one thing that I also do want to emphasize is that there's been a whole lot of panic within the market because the price of Bitcoin has been going down. In my humble opinion, all that's happening is price in this region is coming down to grab some of the liquidity that is trapped in this region. In my humble opinion, we will see price heading back up after grabbing many of these stop losses that are over here, right? At most, I expect price at the very most, if it passes below here, it'll likely come to around the zone, right? The zone where the pink line is, and then go up. So in my humble opinion, all that price is doing, or all that the market is doing right now, is giving us further opportunities to buy, right? That's what I see personally, right? So yeah, that's the weekly chart. Let's head on over to the daily chart, seeing that I don't see anything else that's of value on this particular chart. Before we do so, let me just also stress out that we have these candles over here. Sorry, just bear with me. We have these bearish candles over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight candles that are going down. 7 straight bearish candles that are going down. This indicates to me that this is a stop hunt. Price may turn here. Price may turn at this region, or it may turn at this level, or it may turn at this level. Nonetheless, all it's doing, in my humble opinion, is giving us opportunities to go long, right? Yeah, So there's no need to panic, in my humble opinion. If you are holding Bitcoin at this point, just add as price goes lower and lower, in my humble opinion. So let's continue. Let's now head on over to the daily chart. So here's the daily chart. The first thing that I'm going to do on this particular chart is add a channel. Just bear with me, guys. There we go. One important thing that I always stress is that we need to ensure that our channels are as accurate as can be, right? There we go. That's the daily channel. So what else can we tell by looking at this particular chart, which is the daily chart? I don't see much really, except that in this region here, we actually have an M formation here with the neckline being there, right? What else do we see on this particular chart? Let's see. Let's see. There's not much really. So what I'm gonna do is head back, or rather head on over to the H4 chart. On the H4 chart, I'm just gonna fix my my channels, or rather my daily channel. Just bear with me. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. Just bear with me, guys. There we go. Right. So the first thing that I'm gonna do on this H4 chart is also add a channel. Let's see. How would I add a channel on this particular chart? Okay, I will do it this way. Just bear with me, guys. Just bear with me, guys. There we go. Let's see. I would do it in this manner, actually. I would do it in this manner. And I would also make it a different color, just so that we don't get confused between the two channels. I'll make it a purple. There we go. There we go. Some of you may argue that this actual H4 channel is invalid because price has broken the channel here. That may be true to a certain extent. However, what also happens when it comes to channels is that we would love to see a channel being broken. Where's my drawing tool? We'd love to see price being broken here, and then actually coming back to retest it, and then continuing down. That's why I'm putting it where I put it, right? Let's continue. What else can we tell by looking at this particular H4 channel? I don't know if you guys remember this particular red line that I have here, which is the liquidity line that I added, I think, on the weekly chart. If you recall, I mentioned that we have a whole lot of liquidity at this level that needs to be grabbed. So price has to come to that level, in my humble opinion, to grab some of that liquidity before actually going up, right? So what else can we tell by looking at this particular H4 channel? Another thing that I can see is that we have what seems to be a W formation forming here, and the neckline would be somewhere here. However, we also have an M formation on the inverse. Let me just do this quickly. Just bear with me, guys. Let's see. Okay. We also have an M formation with the neckline being there. You know, I know it's a bit confusing, but that's what's happening right now. Also, we have this particular candlestick over here. It's a bearish candlestick with a small body and a long lower wick, which also confirms that we have a lot of liquidity that is sitting in this region over here, and price may actually come back here, and then we might see this, however, before buying we need to make sure that we have confluence and confirmation. What is confluence? Confluence is having multiple reasons for taking a particular action. For example, for me, in order for me to take a buy at this region, I would say, for example, that I see rather a W formation forming. I have the neckline being broken. I see reversal candlestick patterns and a retracement of Fibonacci, like to the key areas, like the 50% zone or the 61.8% zones. So you need to have multiple reasons for your actions when it comes to trading or investing in general. So let's continue. So that's the 4-hour chart. What else do we see that is significant here? At this point, I don't see anything else that's significant. What I would do is I would wait for price to reach this particular area, right? I would wait for price to reach this particular area, and ideally what I would like to see is some sort of a W formation being formed and price coming back to the neckline, and then that's when I would look for possible buying opportunities here, and I would hold long term, to be honest with you. If I can just go back to the daily chart, or rather the weekly chart, there we go. Should I buy here? Should it happen that I buy here? I would hold Bitcoin long term to about the the previous all-time high. Let me just go back to the monthly chart. The previous all-time high is here. If I do buy at this region, I would hold up until the previous all-time high. Let me just add a line. I would hold up until here, and this is where I will withdraw my profits, right? Yeah. So that's it, guys. And as far as Bitcoin is concerned, at this point, I would not do anything. However, I would look for potential W formations in this region and look for a retracement back to the neckline, and that's when I would look for long-term buying opportunities. If we don't get one here, if we don't get some sort of a W formation in this region over here, if we don't get some sort of a W formation in this region over here, let me go back to the daily chart, or rather the weekly chart. What may happen is price may then just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to find my drawing tool. Let's see. Price may actually then come to this region and then give us that W formation with a neckline. Price comes back to the neckline to test it, and then we might see this, right? So that's what I'm looking for. These two areas are very important. This area here and this area here. So between here and here, that's where I would look for buying opportunities, because as I said, guys, that we have just bear with me, we have this area here, and in this area we have a lot of stop losses that need to be triggered by the market to grab that liquidity, and then what will happen next is price will likely go up, right? So that's it, guys. And as far as Bitcoin is concerned, at this point I would not do anything. However, I would look for buying opportunities as I've just described. So thank you guys for watching this particular analysis. If there are any other charts that you would like me to have a look at, just let me know in the comments section, and I will do my best to touch on them. Thank you guys, and cheers. Peace out.